A very good Thursday morning, January 19th. Hope everybody's doing great this busy Thursday morning. I got to sneak it in a couple times. You're going to hear it a lot as we go through because it is a big card. We got a lot of games, a lot of things to get to as well. Good to see nearly 1,000 people back in the live stream. In the chat it was booming since about 45 minutes ago. So good to see so many people. Hope everybody is doing fantastic this morning. Before we get going, you know where I'm going with this. Subscribe button is down below. I was teasing it. I was pushing it for about 2 weeks. I was saying there's going to be a subscriber-only show coming up. It's going to happen. And sure enough, it happened last weekend. So for those of you who are subscribed, you've got the notifications on. You did get that notification. You got the subscriber-only stream, and you got a win. So that was great to see over the weekend. A few hundred people came out to that as well. So that's not necessarily going to be the norm, but there's a reason that we push everybody to subscribe. And what I will say, too, on this is, once you subscribe, if you just hit the button, you have to turn the notifications on too. So there's the bell icon right below the video. Make sure you have that selected as all, and that'll give you the push notifications to your phone. That's what you want to have happen. That's what you need to do. And if you're not getting that, the last step in your phone, if you have an iPhone, go to settings and then scroll all the way down. You get to the YouTube app. You have to toggle on the notifications. A lot of you might have it blocked. That could be causing some trouble too. So there's 3 steps to it. You guys can handle it. The subscribe button's down below. There's always the chance, subscriber-only show going forward. But those push notifications, great to have too. And one last thing before we get going, there'll be a couple more videos on just the channel itself that aren't live. They're not pick related, but just explaining what we're doing, giving you some things to think about as we go through these release shows. Those will be up a little bit later today on the channel. With all that said, busy Thursday. Let's pull up the odds screen and we will get to the first setup of the day. Few more seconds for everybody as the odds screen begins to quiet down. We'll clear the board here and get you to your sportsbook of choice before we get to the first setup in 5 seconds. First setup of this busy Thursday card is game number 778, Robert Morris, Wisconsin, Milwaukee, under 141 at 8 p.m. Eastern. Game number 778, Robert Morris, Wisconsin, Milwaukee, under 141, 8 p.m. Eastern. We'll give everybody another 5 to 10 seconds. 778, Robert Morris, Wisconsin, Milwaukee, under 141. Game number 778, Robert Morris, Wisconsin, Milwaukee, under 141 is a cancel. Not betting Robert Morris, Wisconsin, Milwaukee. This is a cancel. Day starts off with a cancel. Robert Morris, Wisconsin, Milwaukee, under 141. Not a bet at 8 p.m. Eastern. Couple more seconds. We'll get to the next setup of the day. Next setup, game number 730, Towson, North Carolina A&T, under 135 at 7 p.m. Eastern. Game number 730, Towson, North Carolina A&T, under 135, 7 p.m. Eastern. We'll give everybody 10 more seconds on 730, Towson, North Carolina A&T, under 135. Towson, North Carolina A&T, under 135 is a cancel. We're not betting 730, Towson, North Carolina A&T, under 135. This is a cancel. We are not betting Towson, North Carolina A&T, under 135. Moving on to the next setup. Give everybody 5 to 10 more seconds here to reset. Next setup is game number 751. NC Wilmington first half +2. And this is at 7 p.m. Eastern time. 751 NC Wilmington first half +2 at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Give everybody 10 more seconds here. 751 NC Wilmington first half +2. Game number 751 NC Wilmington first half +2 at 7 p.m. Eastern is a cancel. We're not betting 751 NC Wilmington first half +2. This is a cancel. Not betting 751 NC Wilmington first half +2. Next setup will be back to the full game card. We'll give everybody a couple more seconds to get back to the main menu. Next setup will be from the full game card. Couple more seconds. We'll get to the next setup. Next setup, game number 747, Mercer VMI over 140 at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We're setting up Mercer VMI over 140, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, game number 747. Give everybody 10 more seconds to find that setup. 747 Mercer VMI over 140, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Game number 747, Mercer VMI over 140 is an opposite. We're betting 748 Mercer VMI under 140. The setup is an opposite. Under 140 is a go. The setup was an opposite, so move quickly. Get the under at 140. Let us know in the chat where you were getting the number, what you were able to get. The bet is Mercer VMI under 140. Ezra nailed it. Looked like Spade did as well. This number was obviously moving very quickly. Nicholas says, well done, 140. He was able to get it. 141.5 was good for Matt Connors. Jeremy was able to get 140 as well. Seeing down south was able to get 140. Same with Joe Lupo. Joey Winter got the 140.5. Same with Jay, who got the 140.5 as well. Joe was able to get the 142, 140.5 showing up as well for David Haywood. Alto says 141 was easy. Same thing with Charlie as we see this number start to come down in a hurry. This was, again, we have the opposite introduced. We brought it in a couple shows ago because, as we have been seeing this morning, every single game that was set up so far has been steaming in the direction of the setup. And this is not something with opposites that we want to become necessarily the norm, but it is something that gives people within the chat a chance on shows like this where things are becoming a little bit messy. So keep that in mind, that there's always the chance of an opposite. So if you are thinking about jumping early, whether on the betting or the bookmaking side, that's going to be something to keep in mind, as there's always the chance of the opposite. Again, this is not something we want to have happen for every pick, but it's necessary to keep the playing field even. And we see in the chat that certainly people were able to get it. With all that said, let's move on to the next setup in just a couple of seconds now that Mercer VMI under 140 has been the first go of the day. The next setup is game number 817, Washington, Colorado, over 142 at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. We're setting up game number 817, Washington, Colorado, over 142 at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Give everybody 10 more seconds. 817, Washington, Colorado, over 142, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Game number 817, Washington, Colorado, over 142 is a cancel. Not betting Washington, Colorado over. This is a cancel. Have it in your bet slip, remove it. We're not betting Washington, Colorado. Keeping the pace of the show moving here, we will get to the next setup in just a couple of seconds. Next setup is game number 826, Lindenwood plus 5.5, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Finding and setting up Lindenwood plus 5.5, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Game number 826, Lindenwood plus 5.5, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Couple more seconds on 826, Lindenwood plus 5.5 at 9 p.m. Eastern. Game number 826, Lindenwood plus 5.5 at 9 p.m. Eastern is a cancel. Not betting 826, Lindenwood plus 5.5. This is a cancel. As always, busy Thursday show. We'll keep pushing, get to the next setup. Next game is game number 794, Northern Arizona minus 4.5 at 8 p.m. Eastern. 794, Northern Arizona minus 4.5, 8 p.m. Eastern. We'll go a couple more seconds. 794, Northern Arizona minus 4.5 at 8 p.m. Eastern. Game number 794, Northern Arizona minus 4.5 is a go. We're betting Northern Arizona minus 4.5. This is a go. Have it in your bet slip. Bet it immediately. Northern Arizona minus 4.5 is a go. As always, let us know in the chat where were you finding the odds. What were you getting? Crazy Carl was able to get minus 4.5. Good to see you back for another show. Same thing with Bill Andrews. See, Aaron was able to get minus 4 at Circa. Seeing Joe was able to get minus 4.5. Same thing with Paul and down south, who's had success at PPH, this show and others. Joey got the 4.5. Same thing for Anthony, as well as Michael, Eli, Brad. Good to see a lot of familiar faces back in the chat too. Buckeye minus 4.5 as well. SIA for Sean. Seeing Nico and Michael were able to get the 4.5 as well. Pat Wilkins with a boom at minus 4.5 too. Lumberjacks for Charlie. Yes, indeed. Minus 4.5, minus 109. Kevin, Vern were able to get the 4.5 as well. Lots of 4.5s coming up in the chat for Northern Arizona. Good to see with the second release of the day, people getting the 4.5. Continuing on. Next setup. We're going to game number 834. Cal State, Fullerton, Long Beach State, under 147.5, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, towards the bottom of your sportsbook menu. Game number 834, Cal State, Fullerton, Long Beach State, under 147.5, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Give everybody a few more seconds to find and set up Fullerton, Long Beach State, under 147.5. Game number 834, Cal State, Fullerton, Long Beach State, under 147.5 is a go. We're betting 834, Cal State, Fullerton, Long Beach State, under 147.5. This is a go. If you've got it in your bet slip, bet it immediately. Cal State, Fullerton, Long Beach State, under 147.5. Looks like how the board was moving there, that there's going to be a lot of success with this one coming up in the chat. Brad, again, was able to get half a point better than the release. Joey, a full point better than the release. Same thing with Aaron. Brian got it as well. Seeing Alex was able to get the 148 at PPH as well. Moose, 147.5. Same thing with Bill. Sam was able to get half a point better. It jumped up at a couple different places, potentially assuming the opposite. That was interesting movement there in the middle of the screen as there were 148s that became available, and people looked like they were able to grab them mostly across the board. Tim as well. Good to see Tim back in the show. 148 at Buckeye. Rob was able to get 148.5. Also seeing Kyle was able to get a 149, which is a great grab if that was in fact the case. There's the correction, 148 as well. Same thing with Garrett, 148.5. David again having success getting the release too. So that was good to see so many people at 148 getting half a point better than the release line. 147 as well, showing up a lot in the chat as well. So in total, 3 releases for the show today. Mercer VMI under 140, Northern Arizona -4.5, as well as Fullerton Long Beach State under 147.5. 3 goes from this show. I will have the full recap posted on Twitter. I'll drop it in the Discord as well shortly after this show ends. As always, subscribe button down below. Remember the 3 steps. Hit the subscribe button, select notifications to all, and then make sure in your phone settings the YouTube notifications are toggled to on so you get those push notifications 30 minutes before the show. Appreciate everybody for stopping by. Good to see a lot of familiar people in the chat. As always, looks like a very successful show for a lot of people following along. Have a great Thursday, everybody. We'll talk to you on the next show Saturday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time.